When you see the 1 minute sign go up, he's not waving to you, he's actually letting you know that you're at 7:30.
Oh. Business casual. So taking out the trash is not fun, but separating the trash is worse. So in order to make our lives easier, my roommates and I have decided to have a trash bin, recycling bin, and compost bin right at the start, since we knew Cal Poly is such a green campus. Since we lived in Cerro, we often cooked and ate a lot, and pretty soon both our trash and compost bins were filled. And so out we went to dispose of them. But when we got to the trash disposal, we didn't really see a place to throw our compostable trash. And so to the dumpster it all went, and I couldn't help but think to myself, man, what a waste, pun intended. But seriously, ever since then I've thought that Cal Poly should add more compost bins to the waste disposal areas in the apartments. I think everyone knows that more than ever, there are a lot more students living on campus than before. At least 7,300 students live on campus, according to the University Housing FAQ. In Caitlin Leslie's article, Cal Poly will have 1,000 more students than expected this fall, published this year. PCD should have roughly 4,000 students living there this year. And Cerro with Vista, which is designed to hold 800 students, according to Cal Poly Quick Facts on the Cal Poly news page, would add at least that much, if not more, to the total number of students that live on apartments. Now, I believe we can divert a lot more trash from the landfill if we were to add compost bins to the apartment's trash disposal. From the infographic by Brenda Platt published in 2017 on the website for the Institute of Local Self-Reliance, at least 50% of typical trash from cities and towns in landfills are compostable. Now, I will admit, we do have one compost bin per waste disposal. Emphasize the one. We can do better. From Cal Poly's 2016 Sustainability 6th Biennial Progress Report, which can be found on the waste management page at calpoly.edu, the school has actually diverted 62% of its waste from landfills, and campus dining composts 300 tons a year. That's great. And I do think that one compost bin is a start, but considering that 50% of landfill from towns and cities are compostable, I don't think this one bin is quite going to cut it for the almost 5,000 students living in the apartments. Now, you might be thinking, what if we add compost bins? What if people don't use these compost bins? Well, a study by Jay Fossey published in 1998 in Biocycle found that generally when people have compost bins, they will compost. And in a survey taken by the National Waste and Recycling Association in 2013, cited in the 2014 article, Americans Will Compost If You Make Them, published by Public Works, 67% of composters would compost if it was convenient. In another study conducted by the University of British Columbia, cited in the article Making Bins More Convenient Boost Recycling and Composting Rates, published by UBC News this year, placing bins 1.5 meters from a door increases the rate of composting by 141%. Of course, I don't think that's quite possible at the apartments at Cal Poly, but if we're going down to take the trash anyways, and we already separate the trash in campus dining, it's not going to be too difficult for us to do so in our apartments. What would be difficult is disposing of that compost bag appropriately. And well, if that one compost bag is filled, I am not going to hike all the way down to campus dining to dispose of it. I'm going to toss it into the landfill. Now, composting, there is a downside to it because when we compost, it can make us less mindful of our food waste, which would lead to more waste being thrown out. But when food waste ends up in the landfills, according to the article Wasteland, does the large amounts of food discarded in the U.S. take a toll on the environment, published in 2013 on the Scientific American? When these food scraps end up in the landfill, it actually generates methane, a greenhouse gas 23 times more potent than carbon in trapping heat in our atmosphere. So whenever we toss food waste into the landfill, we're making our atmosphere hotter. In contrast, when we make compost, it begins According to the article Effects of Organic Matter Amendments on Net Primary Productivity and Greenhouse Gas Emissions in the annual Grasslands written by Rebecca Rouse and Wendy Silver in 2030. Wow, that's a real mouthful. Composting increases carbon sequestration in soil, which basically means the soil is going to store the carbon to take greenhouse emissions out of the atmosphere. In addition, according to Advantages of Composting written by Fred Magnoff and Harold Van Es, published on the website for Sustainable Agriculture and Research Education, when we compost, decreases how easily nutrients dissolve. So composting will help lessen pollution in streams, lakes, and groundwater. So whenever we compost, we're helping the environment. And when we don't, well, we make our atmosphere hotter. Now, for the ag aspect, citing back to the two articles, whenever we compost, the soil that we add the compost to retains more water, which makes it better for plants to grow in. Also, high temperatures in compost piles kills weed seeds and disease-causing organisms, and chemicals in it will stimulate the growth of healthy plants. Composted materials is also half the bulk and weight of manure and more commercially valued, so compost is agriculturally valuable. In addition, citing back to that infographic, when we make compost, making compost implies twice the amount of workers of a landfill and 4 times the amount of workers from an incinerator. So not only is it good for us environmentally and agriculturally, it also benefits the economy. And we can contribute to this even more by adding more compost bins to our apartment's trash disposal areas. Cal Poly is on the track to becoming a zero-waste campus, but I think we can get there faster if we were to increase the number of compost bins in at least the apartments. You can help also by emailing sustainability@calpoly.edu to suggest more compost bins. I think if enough of us were to advocate for this, the campus will at least is bound to take notice of this.